Hello everyone and welcome to the developer update for April 2023. Now, I want to first state that this is supposedly the final version coming to the Midchapter. The reason I didn't do one on the PTB is because I looked at it and I said there is no way it doesn't get changed, because there was some really problematic things. So because I was almost 100% certain it was going to be changed, I was like, rather than making two of them, I will make only one. I'll try to do it one for the PTB and one for the final release from now on. Maybe that was a mistake on my part, but let's get right into it. This is the developer update for the mid-chapter for Tools of Torment. Now, one of the biggest things was the healing. As we can see from here, they announced that the healing will be 24 seconds from the usual 16 seconds, and tweaks were made. Medkits were essentially only one use, at most two. This was really problematic because it made healing by yourself too long, unfairly too long. Perks like self-care, complete garbage, and it was overall a really bad change. And one of the things that I hope they did, and I saw a lot of people suggest, is what they did. They reverted the base healing time to 16 seconds. However, from what I understand, this does not affect medkits. Medkits have 24 charges, and if we scroll down a bit, medkits will now have a 33% speed and efficiency penalty when used for self-healing. Only self-healing. Only self-healing. Right? Let's understand this. Only self-healing. This will reduce the number of times a medkit can be used to heal yourself, which means you can heal other people more with your medkits. More other people more, less for yourself, and it takes 30% longer, which is 24 seconds. What does this do? This is great, because this promotes the ability of making it so medkits promote healing other people rather than yourself. Essentially, this change, rather than making it a punishing change to healing, if you heal with other people, if you didn't play with Circle of Healing or a medkit every match, nothing is going to change for you. Literally nothing is going to change. If you didn't bring a medkit, and if you didn't bring Circle of Healing, nothing is going to change for you. But if you're one of those people who relied on taking a hit, running away, using one of your 7 charges in Boone Circle of Healing, and healing in 3 seconds, this entire update guts you. And that is great. Now if you have a medkit, let's say you bring a medkit that's purple, a ranger medkit, you can heal yourself, and it takes 24 seconds to heal yourself. Or you can heal someone else, and it will take, heal the others by 50%, I believe, 12 seconds? I believe that number would be 12 seconds. That is huge. Extra saving 4 seconds is huge, and on top of that, it doesn't use as many charges, meaning I believe at most you could have 3 heals on someone else and only 2 on yourself. So that is fantastic. I love this. They changed some add-ons that were a bit weak. These don't really matter. None of these are super problematic. Anti-hemorrhage syringe and what's not are unchanged. Obviously, it's going to result in it being slower now, which is good overall, but still it's really strong. But that is what it is. Let's look on to probably the best change. And the best change is they didn't nerf Hillbilly. They decided that they were stupid, essentially. No, they backtracked on it, though they're keeping the other tweaks for the overheat mechanic to make it less limiting. I don't exactly understand why the overheating mechanic exists. It's a bit stupid. I think it's an anti-camp measure, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of it. I don't think it should go up while you're chainsaw sprinting. If anything, it should go up like slightly while you're chainsaw charging, and then maybe go down while you're sprinting if you want to be a true anti-camping mechanic. But I don't know. I'm not the biggest fan of overheating, but I'm glad that they didn't nerf the engravings, because this is a great win, and I think we all need to go to Behavior and say, thank you, Behavior. We're really proud of you. You did a really good job, because we need to promote this behavior that Behavior is doing. Oh my god, behavior that Behavior is doing. This is really good. Now, perks. The perks were pretty just before we get into the perks, let me explain how the perks were in the PTB, in case you didn't know. They were pretty problematic. A lot of the changes. Pain Res was gutted too much. Call of Brine and Overcharge were killed into the ground, most likely as compensation for Skull Merchant, and Dead Hard became a perk that almost It's hard to explain, but the dead hard you got when you unhooked someone else, meaning if you hook someone and then they got unhooked, you could tunnel them knowing they won't have dead hard. So they've changed that. Dead hard now applies when you are unhooked or unhook yourself. The only thing to this, and you have to be aware of this if you're running dead hard, cages do not count as hooks. I'm assuming that this is going to apply to dead hard too. Meaning if you have dead hard and you play against a pyramid head, say goodbye to your dead hard, bro. That's going nowhere. You're not going to get it if they cage you. So keep that in mind. Scorch Hook Pain Resonance, I really like this change. I think it makes Scorch Hook much better than it was and much more fair. And what? Much better than it was? How can it be much better than it was if it's weaker? Well, now they made it 25%. So 25% is essentially two 15%. You might be like, well, two 15%. Oh, okay. Yeah, whatever. But if there's a gen at 90% and you get one 15%, it's going to go back to 75%, right? That's the math. That's like, how much seconds is that? That's about, like, I would say, quick math, 12 seconds saved. 12 seconds saved. But if you get another hook on someone else, which if you magically have two people down and you can get both hooks, that's 30%. So you have maybe 25 seconds saved on that gen. That's at trying to hit the maximum. That's good time. 30% is good time if you have two downs. If you have two downs, like what? In that short period of time, and then in the end game, when there's, you know, people dead, the final Scorch Hook isn't really going to do much. It's not going to do much if you get the 9th, 10th, and 11th, and 12th Scorch Hook. It's essentially kind of useless unless you tunnel someone out of the game. So that was a bit problematic. So what this does, it promotes you to not tunnel, and that 20% is more valuable in the early game. So you have a gen at 90%. That 25 is like 21 or 22 seconds off a gen progress. 22 seconds. Then you have Deadmans, and that's an extra 30 on the early game where they don't know you have Deadmans, where they don't know you have Scorch Hook. You just took like 50 seconds off a gen. 50 seconds off a gen right there. Well, not off a gen, but you blocked it. You took it for 20 around, and you blocked it for 30. That is insane. So I still think this perk will be in the meta, and I'm, you know, I think it's a pretty good perk now. Boon, good job. They completely gutted Boon. This is great. There's another trick has a comment. Boon is now an altruistic healing build. For healing perk, it's not bad. Like, do not make the assumption that it's a bad perk. This is still a good perk. Like, you heal 100% faster. Your 16 seconds for altruistic healing is 8 seconds. Do you know how fast 8 seconds is? Do you know how fast 8 seconds is? 8 seconds is pretty fast. So this is still a great perk, especially with medkits. It can probably be, I forget how the math works. It'd either be 6 seconds or no, it should be 6 seconds, right? It should be 6 seconds or maybe 4 seconds. I forget how DBD does math. It's not, I think DBD does math multiplicatively rather than additively, so it becomes a bit complicated in certain sections. But I don't know. If you know what I mean by then, like for example, I forget if this is true or not. Actually, before I say it, this may not be true, but I'm pretty sure I remember a long time ago that when something says increases your speed by 10%, and you move at 110%, your speed increases by 11% because that's 10% of 111. And then if you bring another one that increases it by 20% on top of that, so like 30% in total, you would think, but it works in a way where it's, and I believe it's like this. This it may have been changed, or it may never have been a thing. I believe it would be, you would have 110 plus the 11, and then you would do 20% of that new number. But that may be wrong. I just remember back in the day, everyone was like, dude, you have to bring add-ons in a certain order. If you bring them in the wrong order, it could get as effective. I'm thinking about it now, and I don't think it's a thing anymore, because I think this was back when everything was significantly, largely, in case you don't know, there was a period in time when Dead by Daylight add-ons didn't tell you the exact number. They would say moderately increases duration, significantly increases duration. So it could have obviously been kind of like one of those, what's it called? The placebo effect, where you think something's true, but it's not. I don't remember. Where people were like, oh, it feels longer if I do it like this, and it feels shorter when I do it like this. I don't know. I just remember on flashlights specifically, they would say you want to bring, I think it's the low amp, the thing that makes your battery last longer, after you put your green battery. Because if you put it before, then it's not applying your green battery. Though that would be really stupid. So that may not be true. If actually, don't quote me on this, okay? If someone asks you if this is true, say you don't know, because don't quote me on this, okay? I don't want any quotes. And if it's not true, please tell me in the comments, or if it is true. Auto Haven Records. This is new tile. I mean, okay, cool. Hope to play on it, and that's it. That's the whole update. I think it's a great update. But whoa, hey, one thing I mentioned a bit earlier that got overshadowed. Call of Brine and Overcharge were completely gutted. Like, they are bad perks now. It's not, oh, they're kind of quirky. They're bad. Why were they gutted? Skull Merchant. I mean, Overcharge? Why would they gut Overcharge? Like, let's be realistic here. No one is sitting there saying, oh my god, this blight had Overcharge. I am completely losing it. My dead hard off the record Boon Circle of Healing 7 heal medkits couldn't do it with Legion Overcharge. This is OP. No. There was one killer that had the ability to use Overcharge in a really nasty way, and that was Skull Merchant. So in standard behavior fashion, rather than fixing the Skull Merchant, they're gonna fix the things the Skull Merchant can do, and by fix I mean nerf. Essentially, it's okay. Have you ever been in school and Steve, one of the classes mates, Steve, goes and starts talking, and he doesn't shut up? So the teacher goes, okay, because Steve almost done talking, the entire class is gonna be in silent time. No talking at anyone. Silent time. We're gonna think about our actions. And you sit there and you think, why the hell do I have to sit here in quiet time? Because Steve wouldn't shut up. Only Steve should be punished. That is what we witnessed here. Because Skull Merchant wasn't a good killer, and not good in strong, not good in fun, good in balance. Because she is not a balanced killer, I should have said. We all have to suffer the consequences of her existence. So truly, this is a very sad moment in history, and I hope they revert this change in the future when they see that Call of Brine use rate goes from probably like, I don't know, 50% to literally nothing. So maybe that's what they want. With that out of the way, that's gonna be this video. This is a quick recap on the things happening in Dead by Daylight. Oh yeah, and there's this Meet the Maker thing, and Alice in Wonderland collab too. But you know, that's just if I scroll down a bit more. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We went over the notes. I'm sure every YouTuber has done this, but this is my own personal take on it. I think it's a great change to the game. I hope behavior goes in this mindset. I just wish they spent time working on the Skull Merchant rather than doing what they did to Call of Brine and Overcharge, because it sets a precedent that's bad. So again, I will go with this up here. These perks, good precedent. People were concerned on the subreddit that behavior was going on the mindset that if a perk is used a lot, it just gets nerfed. Which, if they kept, especially Scourge Hook, as how it was in the PTB, that would have proved that if a perk is just good, they nerf it. Like, if a perk is just used a lot, they nerf it. Like, you know, if people use Zenshin Tactics too much, behavior would be like, clearly Zenshin Tactics is too OP. But it's good that they saw through that, and they realized they can't just do that, so they made it this balance, in which I would say this is either equal to how it was, or in my opinion, a better early game, and early game is very important. But it's also really sad to see behavior do this kind of band-aid fixing to Skull Merchant rather than addressing Skull Merchant's core issues. I don't think there's anyone who's really maining Skull Merchant yet. Maybe there's some people who enjoy her, who want to main her. Maybe. Very likely, maybe. Like, you know, I wouldn't hold my breath on it. But I'm sure they could wait, you know, 3 weeks or something if she was just disabled. And I think the YouTuber, Twitch streamer Otsdarva made a very great point here. There was a game called BTD6. I'm sure we all played BTD6. Fantastic game. There was a character that they were releasing, and apparently they kind of went on Twitter like, hey guys, so the character actually is like breaks, it's not, you know, it breaks a lot of aspects. There are a lot of things wrong with it. We're actually just not going to release it right now. We're just going to like continue to fix it. And we'll tell you when we release it, but we're not going to really give a date. And they did release it, and I believe that character is fine and working great. Skull Merchant released horribly. She is negatively affecting the game, negatively affecting perks because of her existence, and that is bad. We do not like that here. So I wish they delayed it. Imagine if Skull Merchant was releasing this mid-chapter. If they said, hey, look, we're gonna delay it like, you know, a mid-chapter so we can flesh out this killer because it's poorly designed. Would anyone have really complained? Like, everyone says they want Behavior to spend more time on, like, the game's health. And they never do. And I'm not blaming the game developers or the game director. I'm sure they have absolutely no choice in the matter. I am positive some 60-year-old, okay, in the higher-up chair hands on a piece of paper and says, yeah, no, get this done by this date or else you're fired. Alright, mate, okay, you're gonna be fired. And no more bags of milk for you if you're fired. You understand that, right? No tea and crumpets. And that is probably what the average conversation was, and the game developers just have to deal with it. And then are given like a week after the PTB to try to fix the atrocious amount of bugs that they were probably aware of. Like, you know, they're not stupid, okay? Like, let's not pretend that Behavior's a stupid company. They're aware of issues in their game. They probably know of most bugs in the game, but they're probably just not given enough employees or time to do it. And that is just really sad about how a company like that is run. I would hope that DVD is making enough money to be able to, I don't know, hire more employees, and if not, just make more skins. I'm sure you make a Thirst Trap skin, you make a skin with like Wesker in a Speedo, you'll earn millions of dollars. I'm not even kidding. You will genuinely earn millions of dollars. But that's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye bye.